Hi there, this is Chartbusters. I'm Mangla Malu. With me is Nigel D'Souza. This is the show where we highlight all the buzzing stocks of the day, get your expert advice on how to capitalize and trade on those stocks. This Thursday morning, where is the Nifty options as well as the Nifty Bank options expiry. We're seeing a bit of a down day, the Nifty low by about 50 points. It's the mid-caps which are underperforming along with the Bank Nifty. So the Bank Nifty is actually lowered by a couple of these private sector banks. Yes Bank should come up for you. Along with that, we have IndusInd Bank, both of them hurting. So a 200-point decline on the Nifty Bank after a 300-point decline yesterday as well. Yes Bank, that's the one that should come up for you. There was a report by UBS on both Yes Bank as well as IndusInd Bank. In fact, the report was on the entire banking sector, singling out Yes Bank and IndusInd Bank as banks which have higher exposure to the weaker sectors, and on the basis of that, they've cut their earnings estimates by 50 to 70% for 1 year.
That's right, Mangalam. But for the second day running, some of those steel stocks are doing a relative outperformance. We'll focus on that later on the show. That NMDC, there's been a bit of a shutdown for the last few days. I don't know whether there's going to be a scarcity of iron ore in some parts, which could drive prices higher. And the other important factor we're looking out there is that will China induce some stimulus? That's what could, help some of these steel stocks do well. And obviously, we have budget 2019 that's around the corner. So will there be some more protection that will come out of them? But in an otherwise wobbly market, some of those ferrous names are holding in the green, and some of them have recovered from the low point of the day. The one that is sulking is NMDC, and we'll focus on that stock later on in the show. First up, though, let's run you through all the top stories. Yes Bank and IndusInd Bank, they see sharp cuts. They are the top losers on the Nifty today. UBS cuts the target prices for both the banks. They lowered earnings estimates by 79% for Yes Bank and 53% for IndusInd Bank for FY20.
Oil marketing companies, however, see some respite in an otherwise weak market, and that as Brent crude slips around that $60 per barrel mark owing to higher supply and lower demand forecasts.
And Jet Airways sees a cut of over 15% today on news that the National Stock Exchange will remove the stock from daily trading and move it to the trade-to-trade segment from 28th of June. The stock also trades weak ahead of its NCLT hearing today on whether to include Jet into the IBC.
NMDC, on the other hand, sees a cut of over 5.5% after operations in its Chhattisgarh mines have been shut for 2 days due to tribal trouble. The Chhattisgarh mines, remember, contribute 70% to the company's sales in FY19.
And Syntex Industries too sees a cut of around 10%. CARE downgrades the stock to D after the company defaults on interest and principal payment of around 112 crore rupees that were due on June 11th. Well, it started off as a bit of a down day. The Nifty is holding below the 11,900 odd mark, but it's the crucial weekly options expiry. So let's see whether or not we see a bit of a bounce from these 11,850 odd levels. Ashwani Gujral joins us to give us his trade on the Nifty at around 10:30 a.m. today. Ashwani, tell us what's the trade?
Since yesterday, the Bank Nifty has fallen over 500 points. So my sense is right now we are looking for a bit of a pullback, maybe 100-150 points, because we cannot relentlessly go on falling. So right now I am long on the Bank Nifty for an intraday bounce of about 50-70 points on the on the Nifty, as well as 150-200 on the Bank Nifty, given that we are at the lower end of the range, given that the market breadth is fairly poor. So my sense is that we should have an intraday rally, but overall the bearishness or the sideways to down sentiment remains. So individual stocks, PNB is a sell with the stop of 78, target of 66. HDFC Bank is a sell with a stop of 24.20, target of 23.80, and Indigo is a buy with a stop of 1670, target of 1720.
All right, Ashwani, hang in there. Point well taken. Was looking at the 11,900 straddle trading at a premium of close to around 60. So maybe the smart money is playing for the range of 11,840 to around 11,960. Where would the stop loss be? You expected a 50 to 70% point uptick on the Nifty and 150 to 200 point uptick on the Nifty Bank?
See, the stop will be 11,800 thereabouts, and the target could be 11,920, 940, because chances are, a lot of people are now short in this market, particularly on financials. So the short covering could take it a bit further. It's not like we are trading at 12,000.
Right. Have you seen the chart of NMDC, Ashwani? That one's taking a bit of a beating. Of course, there is some reason for that. We'll talk about it. But in an otherwise strong markets for the ferrous space, the iron ore maker is lower.
See, basically metal stocks are not doing so well, and NMDC, I don't think there is great amount of momentum in that stock, so at best, left alone.
All right, Ashwani, thanks a lot for that. Meanwhile, we will talk about NMDC with Nigel in a bit. Thank you for joining us, Ashwani. But the stocks on our radar, we've been talking about it all through this morning, are both Yes Bank and IndusInd Bank. They're seeing sharp cuts. The top losers on the Nifty as well as the top contributors on the downside for the Nifty Bank. UBS has cut target for both these banks, their target prices and EPS estimates. What's the reason? Abhishek joins us with more.
UBS has downgraded IndusInd Bank to a sell rating with a target price cut to about 1400 versus 1700 earlier. They have also reduced the target price on Yes Bank to 90 rupees per share versus 170 earlier. They favor Axis Bank and ICICI Bank amongst the private sector banks. They have raised the FY20 credit cost or provisions for NPA estimates by 50 basis points each for Yes Bank as well as IndusInd Bank. They believe that this rise in credit cost could actually lower the earnings estimate by 79 and 53% for Yes Bank over FY20 and 21, while in higher single digit for IndusInd Bank in terms of the PAT estimate being cut. They believe that the network risk drive their credit cost estimates on the higher side. Now remember that on 3rd June, RBI had come out with a report wherein they had mentioned the key risk or provisions to be made on the higher side for interrelated companies if you have an exposure to a company which has already defaulted. So next level of risk could appear from leverage corporate related companies. They believe that the lending to non-investment grade companies versus main company remain high for Yes Bank as well as IndusInd Bank, and lending to these non-investment grade companies has not been factored into the stock price for both Yes Bank as well as IndusInd Bank. So concentration of lending to weak companies remains high for Yes Bank, ICICI Bank and PNB, that is Punjab National Bank. Back to you.
All right, Abhishek, thanks a lot for that. Meanwhile, let's talk about NMDC now. Nigel, a big shutdown in their Chhattisgarh mine?
Yeah, that's right, Mangalam. One would have thought we were expecting some good news coming from NMDC and some relief coming in Karnataka. Now, this has come out of nowhere. The operations in Chhattisgarh, they've been shut down for the last couple of days, and close to around 70% of their sales in FY19 itself came in from Chhattisgarh. The breakup should come up for you on the screen. Karnataka is a smaller proportion, around 29-30% approximately of their total sales, while Chhattisgarh is 70-71% on. Keep in mind that Karnataka, the 29%, the Donamalai mines, which were bulk of those sales in FY19, that's been shut down since November 2018, and now all hopes are on the Kumaraswamy mine to give them whatever they can from Karnataka itself. Let's address the news then, and what is the issue? Why are the Karnataka mines shut down? Remember, there is this Bailadila iron ore deposit 13. That's at the Kirandul out there. That's a non-operational mine. To give you a brief about it, NCL is a JV between NMDC and the government out there. That's the Chhattisgarh government out there. Now, this was incorporated many years ago, close to around a decade ago. They were allotted this particular mine, and in December 2018, what they did was they went ahead and they gave a contract to Adani Enterprises.
Okay.
Now, both the the workforce at NMDC as well as the locals out there, they weren't happy at all about this, because there is a bit of a misconception that this particular mine is actually being privatized or it's being given to Adani Enterprises. But the fact of the matter is that it's only a mining contract actually,
right,
which the locals don't seem to be, they don't seem to be agreeing to, because they are saying that it's a sacred part, this deposit 13 for them as well. So on the back of that, this mine is not functioning as of now.
Okay.
The problem is they've gone to the operational mines, and now there as well the production has been shut down. So short point is, where the problem was, that's the deposit 13. that mine would have given iron ore only in the next couple of years. So there was some trouble out there, but now the protests have moved to both the operational mines at Kirandul as well as Bacheli, which is nearly around 70% of their total sales, and that's why in fact it's a negative, and that's why the stock is sitting with a cut of around 5%. You know, unofficially I've spoken to a couple of people who are at the site as well, and they have said that they're optimistic that will be a resolution. The reason that the street is reacting today is because there has been no resolution for the last couple of days, and this would mean that only one mine now currently of NMDC is functioning. That's the Karnataka Kumaraswamy mine, which is very, very small.
15%.
It has a capacity of around 6 to 7 million tons odd. In the last year, it did only around 1 to 2 million tons approximately. But this year, you're hoping to do full 7 million tons out there because the Donamalai mine is anyways shut as well. So not good news coming from NMDC.
So in a sense, for the last 2 days, only 15% of their entire capacity is functioning.
Absolutely, Mangalam. Absolutely. For the last couple of days, there's only, you know, and the hope was that only deposit 13 was having a problem. But now we know for sure that the actual operational mines, they have been shut down. We're waiting from clarity from both the Chhattisgarh government as well as NMDC as to when they can, you know, strike some sort of a understanding with the local tribals out there.
All right, Nigel, important point taken out there for NMDC. The stock has lost a fair bit of steam. Any sort of